We do put the recordings up on our blog and you'll have access. We'll share out the link to the blog, which can be a support if you are choosing to do to do our digital badges. Everything we cover here, you'll be able to get back to in the video, as well as the slides I'm going to share right now. So let me put in the chat the links to the slides. So these are the slides for today. I'm going to go ahead and start showing them. Let's see. All right. Oh, it doesn't want to show. There we go. Okay. So these are our slides for today. Lots of slides. That's really more as a support for you after the session. We'll go through some of the slides, but a lot of them we won't look at in the slide format. We'll just go look at it live, like actually creating a website or uploading a video. So we've done our sign in. Our objectives today are that you know how to upload a video to YouTube, that you're able to share links to a YouTube playlist, and also creating a Google Sites website, which is a very, like that is being said in a very small amount of words, but is a big thing. So again, you'll know how to do it. We won't get a lot of it done together today, but you'll have an opportunity to do it on your own, getting ready for our digital badges if you want to do that. A couple of sort of housekeeping things. We do have show and tell at the end of June. So we have a couple more sessions coming up. And then that last one will be show and tell, which is when you guys really take over and share what you've been doing. These are the next few sessions, and I will send this again after today's session. We'll send you an email with a link to the slides, and obviously the slides give you access to this, but we'll also mention all the last 3 Google Club meetings for the year. We do a short self-assessment, which I want to do. So the idea of the self-assessment is to kind of get a sense of where you are before the session or as the session starts. And then we do it again at the end, or I'll send it out to you if you don't get it done during the session today. And it gives us a little feedback on, you know, where you are, where you start, and if there's any changes as you go through the session today. So let me find the chat. So this is the self-assessment. So go ahead and take it. It's short. It's a few questions. It's a Google form. Go ahead and click on that link and do it. And we'll make sure we have time at the end to come back to it and do it again. There's also a QR code here if you want to do it on your phone. So you can scan that QR code. So the self-assessment basically takes you through a few questions, both on Google Sites and on YouTube. And I know some of you, I recognize your names well, and I've seen you many, many times, and you've probably come through sessions like this before in Google Club. Some of you, this might be totally new. So we know we're kind of trying to bridge that possible space between where you are. In the chat, if you quickly, I know I'm asking you to do lots of things at the same time. If you want to put in the chat how much, if you've ever put a video on YouTube or uploaded a video on YouTube. So yes, I have put I've uploaded a video, or no, I haven't. That in the chat. I'll get a sense of where we are. No video, Alyssa says. All right. And Cynthia has. Usually in a typical room, this is about 20% have done it, but maybe this is a more experienced group. All right, so far, no's and a few yeses. Nice. Good to know, Zaruri, that you've done it as part of grad school. All right. While you guys are putting that in the chat, I'm going to keep moving on. I've mentioned a couple times that we have what we're calling our digital credentials or digital badges for the work that if you want to do between now and our next meeting or the Monday before our next meeting, there are two different badges available this time. One is to upload a video to YouTube and add it to a YouTube playlist and share the link to us. And there's a few other requirements inside the description. And the other option or additional option, you can do both or neither or one or the other, is to make a Google website. And what happens, you follow the assignment. And I'll share with you, we have a one pager that breaks this down a little bit more, and I'll share those with you as links. They're also in our folder, which you can get to through our slides. So back here, I shared with you our slides. You can also get to our folder there. They're in there, but I'll come back to that. The point is, if you want to do this work after today, you can then submit it by the 20th of May, which is the Monday before our next session. And we will review it. And if you've kind of hit all the requirements, we will give you a digital badge. Yes. Do you have a question? Zarui, I think you might have unmuted. Are you unmuted? Did you want to ask something? Maybe not. Nope, it wasn't you. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, so we've had a couple people participate the last few meetings. Marika did a beautiful job from the first session of making a little video of how she organized her Google Drive. And we had someone from last time submit both a slides presentation and a Word presentation, and it needs a little bit of work, but we're going to get onto that. Anyway, so if you want to do this, this is voluntary for you, but if you go ahead and do the work and submit it by the 20th, at the end of the day on the 20th, you will get a badge. And the badge will have this clear definition that will show the skills that you have. So the idea here is that you can take this badge and, excuse me, add it to your LinkedIn or include it in your resume, because this learning stays with you and we want you to have a symbol of that. So those are the two tasks. So what we're going to cover today is a little bit of the stuff you need to know for these. We're going to start with YouTube. Thought I had another question for you. Well, we'll start with this one. So maybe you all know the answer, but do you have a YouTube account? And I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So you can all do like a thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up, yes, you have a YouTube account. Thumbs down, you do not have a YouTube account. And you can, this is sort of club, so you can unmute, you can also show your video, whatever you like to do. So yes, we have a few people who have yeses. Joan, do you have a YouTube account? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I do. But I mean, I search on there for music and I save it in different folders on YouTube. But and I haven't put like a video on there since I was in grad school. Just like I think it was her name's Marui.
Yes. So, and I see Wei Hung has a great question. Does a Gmail account automatically give you a YouTube account? And I see Cynthia says, good question. Technically it does. And that is actually the joke today, or my little trick. Usually I ask everyone, here we're Google Clubs, so the assumption is you all have Google accounts. But I ask how many people have Google accounts, and usually in the session, everyone raises their hand. And then I say, who has a YouTube account? And only half the people maybe raise their hand. And the sort of little joke there is that, yes, you automatically, there's an account waiting for you to log into. You may never log into it, but with your Google credentials, your Gmail credential, or maybe you don't even have a Gmail one, but however you access your Google tools, those credentials, that username and password will get you into your YouTube account, which is just waiting for you. Can you watch videos without a YouTube account? Yeah, or without logging in, certainly, right? Like we've seen with Google, things like that. Um, and I see some more things in the chat about a channel and all that stuff. So the account is just waiting for you, and we're going to go ahead. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll go look at YouTube for this. Um, so if I come here and I go to my slowly moving, okay, there we go. I go to YouTube. So we all know that we can watch a YouTube video without an account. Your students, you could share a link to a YouTube video and they can watch them without any problem, without logging in. But if you are logged into your Chrome, you probably already logged into your Google or into your YouTube. So you can see here, this is where I am, right? So I could log out, I could sign out of my account, but you're gonna see over here, if you're not signed in, this will say sign in. And once you sign in, you'll see that you have access to all of these things. Now I have premium. Let me stop sharing this one and take you to my other account. So premium, I pay a little money, and I did that because at some point I probably got it free with my phone, and then I never stopped paying that money. But it is, what's nice about premium is that you do not have ads. And in my case, I think I also have access to some YouTube music. It doesn't really change how much I can put on YouTube or anything like that. So you absolutely do not need YouTube Premium. So if I go to YouTube here, again, I'm still in Chrome, I'm still logged in, so my face is still going to be showing up over on the side here, but you'll see in the slides, I show an image of what it looks like when you're not signed in. Right, so there's a little sign in button there. You click on that, you sign in, and then you're going to see the YouTube account that you have. And someone mentioned the channel, right? So if you've never created a channel, the first time you come in and you want to upload a video, you're going to be asked to do that. And maybe Cynthia knows more. I always thought you just got one channel. My husband's is working on creating a YouTube empire, and he has two channels. So I don't know how that works. Cynthia, do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, you can actually have multiple channels and even kind of multiple profiles under the same account. So that might be a
Excellent.
little more advanced, but like my YouTube account has four profiles under it, and two of those profiles I have channels for, but they're all under the same Google account.
So Cynthia is way fancier than I am. I have several different Google accounts, and I just treat them as my separate YouTube accounts, but I've never added another YouTube profile under the same one, which actually now, Cynthia, that you say that, I'm sure that's one of the confusions we have with our LinkedIn or our LAC account. So one day maybe you and I will chat together and fix that. So you're in here the first time you want to upload something. So to upload a video on your phone, it's super, super simple. If you've added the YouTube app to your phone, when you make a video and you want to share it, you've probably seen that you can share it with your friends, or you share it via email or some other way. That same share button will give you the option of adding it to YouTube, and then it's very simple. But I'm going to show it to you on here. So on a browser version, you get a little bit more space. It's actually a little bit nicer if you were going to edit or do anything like that. You might want to do it through your browser. So I'm logged into my YouTube. I can be anywhere in YouTube, but I'll see that I have this little icon up here. And if I scroll over it, I see that it's a create, right? So this is like a little video camera, very stylized video camera. If I click on that video camera, I have the option of going live, which would be an actual synchronous me putting my stuff out into the world, or I could click on upload. So if I click on upload, I'm going to be asked to find a file that I want to upload, and I made one today to upload, and it's probably gonna be really long, and that might have been a bad idea. But anyway, so we're gonna try it out. This is my video right here. Now, if I rename it here, that new name will come into the upload. If I don't rename it here and I upload it, I can always rename it later. So I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm clicking on this video file. I knew that I had saved it to my download, so I knew where it was. This would be the first step for you, is knowing where the actual content is, where is the video that you want to share. I click open, and now it's going to do its business for a little while. But immediately I get the details screen, and this is something to be this is where you want to put, you can come back and edit this later as well, but it's kind of good to get it all started. So this happens to be a video on making a Google website. So making a Google Sites website. And oh, processing abandoned. Video's too long. Okay, so we just hit this issue. So if you have not verified your account, you cannot upload a video that's more than 15 minutes long. So I don't really use this one because this is my work Google account. I'm going to stop sharing. No, I'm not going to stop. Yes, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to take us over to my other account. So in the slides, let me go to the slides for a second. Sorry, running all over the place here. In the slides, we have a little piece on this. Yeah. So by default, you get 15 minutes per video. But if you verify your account, you can go longer than 15 minutes. And I guess I haven't done that for my work account. So to do that, you just have to follow these directions. This is on slide 20. If I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to take me back to my other account. Also going to check in. Okay. Okay, so same business we were just doing. I'm going to click on that create button. I'm going to upload a video. So just to be clear what just happened, right? We saw that I have two different accounts. I have two different Google accounts. This is my regular Gmail personal account. It happens to also be premium because I paid for that, but you can do this without the premium account. What I just tried showing you was uploading a video to my workspace account, which is my work account and is not where I do most of my googly, YouTubey stuff. So it has not been upgraded to beyond 15 minutes. So now to demonstrate the upload part, I'm going to go here. I'm going to select my file again. This part's all the same as we were just doing. And I'm going to type in here that this is making a Google. I'm not going to write a description now, but you can come back and make this very explicit. This description could say, you know, at what minute or what time interval things are happening. So that can be a very useful thing, but I tend to do that after the video's up and I've really had some time to think about it. You also probably can't, you know, you're not going to decide which thumbnail to use, but once it's up, once it's been processed, you'll have little images that you can choose to be the main image when it's being promoted. You also can decide whether you're going to put it in playlists or not. I love playlists, and we're going to talk about playlists today a little bit more. But so I can go into my playlist now, and I could find the playlist where I want to put it. If the playlist doesn't already exist, I can create a new playlist. So in this case, I'm going to do a new playlist called Google Club. And you can decide if that should be visible to the public or not. I'm fine with it being visible to the public, but you also have the options of private and unlisted. And my memory was that private meant that other people couldn't see it unless you gave them a link, and unlisted also meant that you couldn't, other people can't find it without a link. Like I said, I'm fine with the public here, but if you're nervous about putting content out in the world or you want a little time, you could always put it in one of those other versions, and then when you decide it's something that the world can see, you can make it public. Like done with that. Now the one thing that I really want to point out here or emphasize here is that one of the things you have to indicate is whether this video was made for kids or not made for kids. Made for kids means that the content is specifically for children. And if you select it is made for kids, you will not be able to add the video to a playlist. For us, normally, I'm going to guess most of our content is not made for children. It's not something that children can't see or shouldn't see, but it's not made for them. So I'm going to say it is not made for them, and that will allow me to add this to a playlist. Below here, you could also add an age restriction if you really were covering content that you felt only people of a certain age should see. But we're not really dealing with that most of the time, right? So this is a how-to video on how to make a website. Certainly children could watch it. There's nothing offensive or challenging there, but it's not made for them. That's the key. And I'm not going to change the restriction because, again, I don't care if people under 18 watch this video. The content seems totally acceptable. I'm going to click next. You can add subtitles and end screen images or cards that pop up inside your video. I don't do any of those things. Cynthia, are you someone who's done any of those things?
When I'm making a video, no.
Okay.
But I appreciate content creators who add cards because they're easy ways for me to access like other information or other parts of the video.
And that pops up inside the video and people can click on it to get to other content, right? That's what the cards look like.
Except for if you're watching the video on a smart TV or a
Ah,
TV.
then
It has to be like a tablet or a laptop.
Something where you can click.
Yes.
So again, for real content creators who are, making this their business, then this stuff becomes very important. For us, don't let this be a barrier to you making a YouTube video. I ignore all of this stuff. So I'm going to click next. They're going to check to make sure that I'm not using any copyrighted material or whatever. And even if I have copyrighted material, it might warn me here. It might still let me do it, or it might not let me save the video. So everything is fine. I'm going to go to next. And the default is that it's saved as private. I'm fine with this being public. There's a link to it already here. I took so long telling you all about it that it seems to mostly come through. It says checks complete, no issues found. And so I'm going to double check here. I can always change this later. But so choose the one you want, but no, you can come back and change it. And then this is the link. So I'm going to copy that link just to have it. And I'll show you that in a second. And I'm going to click publish. So you get to see the link again. I'm going to close that. So now I also didn't really point this out, but once we clicked the create button, we actually got moved to YouTube Studio, which is different than just regular YouTube, right? So right now I'm mostly just going to see the content that I've created before. I have my dashboard. I could check analytics. So you can imagine if you're a real, YouTube creator who's doing this as a job or wants to track everything about everything that you're doing, this is very important information for you to be able to get back to. If I just want to get to look at my video, I can go back to YouTube. I tend to just come from the content place right here, and I come over to my video. And that takes me back to my YouTube. So there I am, look, kind of in the same outfit I am right now. So this has had no viewers. This would be the area where that information, if I wanted to add information, would be. This is where I have my share button, right? One of the things I want to point out, so say there's a video that you want to share, whether it's a video you created or somebody else's video, that you want to share at a certain point in the video. So it's not, this is quite a long video, right? So this is a 16-minute video. That's long for most people, especially if they don't quite know if they want to deal with it or not. And maybe the really important part for the sake of the lesson that you're teaching is right here. When you come down to the share button, you get this link, but if you click on this little box, it adds a little code to the end of your link. And now whoever has that link, when they go to open it up, it will open at that spot in the video. So if you only have 3 images, Now, I can't limit where it ends, and the people get full access to the video. So if they want to go all the way back to the beginning, they can totally do that. So that's with the sharing with the link here. You also have an option of sharing a clip. A clip is a limited piece of the video where the person that you share the link to the clip with can only see that section. They cannot see what goes before it. They cannot see what goes after it. And I think it's limited to a minute, has been my experience. So if I wanted to share a clip of this video. One pick the 3-image work. Oh. All right. So it wants me to say what piece of the clip. Oh, sorry. I'm going to do a boop. Let me do that again. So we're going to make a clip. Where's my, right. So it's over here where I get to tell it what part of the video I want it to be. I can stretch it out as long as I want, but that's a minute that it will allow me to do. And then I could watch that to see that it's exactly the portion I want, or I could put the time in. And then when I'm happy with that, I can share the clip. I could duplicate it and a full. Okay. So why would it let me just share page of embed or a new link? Sorry. My share clip is, oh, because I have to give it a title. So when you do a clip versus doing that share a link to a certain moment inside the video, that sharing the link, you're just sharing it to the same video. This clip is kind of like me taking a little recording and giving it. So you have to give it a title. I'm going to say example 10. And now that I've done that, I get my share clip link. So if I copy that and I go to a new tab, and a full page embed. Here we see the video is only 54 seconds long, and it's only that piece, and they don't know. And they know about me, and they could go back and find me, but they can't see the rest of the video until they go find my other content. So those are two different ways to share. Well, three, right? So you can just share the regular link. You can share a link to a moment inside a video, and you can share a clip, which is a piece of a video. Because I have premium, I get this download option. I don't think that shows up always, even with premium, but I don't think it shows up at all if you don't have premium. Oh no, I'm not in premium right now. So yes, I guess this is because it's my video, so never mind. Let me get rid of that tab. What other components did I want to mention? So this, in the slides, you get all of these pieces. It's just a little hard to show you just in static images, but you'll be reminded, right, that if you come to share it, you click on the share, you click on the box, and then you can change the link. This is the clips part. We did our upload video. We saw the place where you have to put in all the details, and we did the minimum. You can certainly come back and do a lot more. This is where I kind of emphasize that piece about not made for kids, increasing your video length. There is a video here in case you want to see how to upload a video from your phone. So I'm going to leave you with that link in case that's how you end up doing it. So what I was saying earlier is that if you do go in and you make your, let's go into an existing video. I'm going to go back to my regular YouTube. And I go to my channel. And we'll go to this very short example, which is a short, really. So if this is my video, then well, maybe the short, I can't do the editing. Yeah, so if you upload a video that I think is a less than a minute, I'm not sure, I'll look up what the shorts rules are. I find them kind of annoying, and I know a lot of people do shorts, but if it's a very short video, they're going to suggest that it's a short, and that's slightly different. It's laid out slightly differently, and the things you can do are slightly different. Let me go back to my channel. All right, we'll go with this one. So this is another video. So once your video is here, say you come back weeks later or 2 hours later and you want to change any of that other content that we were talking about, all the details, you click on the edit video and it takes you back to YouTube Studio. So you'll see all the bits that we just did for the video that we were doing when we were uploading it. I could come in here now. I could copy and paste a bunch of content in here. I could identify time points between here. I could add links out to other materials or to my website. I could change the thumbnail, right? And then once you're done with that, you can save your changes. So you have the ability to come back. And the studio is also where you would come to look at your statistics. But for most of us, that's not something we're that worried about. Again, if you're going to become a YouTube creator, there's lots and lots of videos on how all of this works. We're really looking at this as a way to both share content that we create. So the idea that you would make a short video, the video that I uploaded just now, I'll share a link to that in the slides after today. That is a helpful video if you do decide to do the Google Sites digital badge. That 16-minute video, whatever it was, 16 or 19-minute video, will take you through a lot of what that work is. So I make that video one time, and while we cover things today at the same time, there'll be a future time when you're working on your own, and it's very helpful to have that video available to you. So we're looking at the idea today of sharing our content, and our content could either be videos that we make ourselves, or it could be videos that we've found, we searched for and located, and we are curating for our students, and that's where the playlist piece comes in. I'm going to stop sharing for a second because I want to ask you all. Oh, so I'm going to check I'm checking the chat, sorry. Oh, Joan's having trouble seeing what I'm demonstrating. And Wei Hong is asking, do I mean YouTube page only, or is there more? Right, so Google Sites is a separate thing. So we were doing two different pieces today. That was our YouTube down and dirty. And we're going to do Google Sites in about 5 minutes. I did want to ask you all, when you use YouTube or you use videos with your learners, how do you do that? How do your learners see the video that you want them to see? How do you get them all there together? And you can just unmute or type in the chat and I can read out loud what you say. So if you've used video with, I'm guessing most of you have used video with your learners. How did you do it? What was the process? Give them a YouTube link. So how did you give them the YouTube link? Is this something that you email to them and they watch the video at home or outside of class? So I see Zarui,
both in and out of class.
Both in and out of class. And Marika, how do you get them the link when it's out of class?
Oh, out of class, I send an email, but I also send it in WhatsApp.
So you have a couple of different ways that you communicate with students,
yes.
and they're electronic, so they can do it. Excellent. And I see some other people say email as well. And then Alyssa says that she presents it in class, so it might be even embedded in a slide, or a link in the slide, and then you can send up the WhatsApp. Nice. I see WhatsApp is very, very useful this way. And then, yeah, if you have a learning management system like Canvas, Zarui says that Zarui, posts the links in Canvas, which is another great tool. Are there other learning management systems? Like we could talk, Google Classroom obviously is another one. So far it looks like people are sharing links through communication tools like email, WhatsApp. Some are watching the video together with their students. And Sanju, I do see your question and we'll get to it in one moment. Thanks, Zarui. So you're she. Thank you. So yes, and I think this is a very common, common way that we use video, both together. We're all together watching a video at the same time, and also sharing videos so that learners can come back to the video when they are doing the assignment or it's homework, something that they can do on their own time. And video particularly lends itself to small devices, right? So people are very willing and happy to watch video on a phone, where they might not be so willing to, I don't know, read a longer piece of writing or do writing on their phone. So video to me is a very rich way to share content before class or after class, as a way to extend or deepen whatever it is that you're covering, right? It can start that be the introduction to the topic, or it could be something where you're giving them tips so that they can do it afterwards. Marika, I remember you doing something, I think it was you who did something with just giving directions.
I'm not sure,
That wasn't,
unless it was like the Jamboard, like for homework. A lot of times I give them, I send a video and tell them exactly what they need to do for the homework. So whether it's
nice.
Jamboard or Google Slides, and I take them through every step that they need to do for the homework. Yes.
And that's an interesting idea, right? So that they can come back to, especially depending on their reading level or whatever, their language level, that they can listen to the directions for their homework or their project rather than only seeing it written. And you do it one time and you can use it over and over again. So that's one of the powerful things I think for us as educators or people that are working with people, we're teaching people over time, making a video, the video is there when they need it, but it also is something I can just come back to and share again when it's time to come back to the same kind of content. Okay, so Sanju had a question about how many videos can you upload with a single Google account? And Cynthia, I don't know, do you know if there's a cutoff?
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry. Sanju asked in the chat, how many videos, I think it was, let me just try and find the chat. How many videos can you create in a basic account?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can Google it to find out.
Google it. The Google foo of Cynthia Bell. Fantastic. So we'll find out if there's a limit. I certainly not hit the limit, and I do kind of want to just show off for a second, because this is what's funny about YouTube to me. It's not really about how we're going to use it, but in my personal account, I get very few views, right? People aren't, I'm not putting up a lot of content. But if I go into my stuff, maybe, and I go to my channel. So when you're looking at your channel, you have these tabs, right? So home are some videos that it's suggesting to you. Then we have the videos that you've added. So this would be where you'd see all your videos. Shorts will be there if you've done some lives. If you have playlists, this is also a place you can come to see your playlist in more detail than what you'll see down the side here. So if I go to my videos, right, I have a couple of videos that, 15 views, 13 views, 8 views, 9, 5, 208. I was showing how you rig a boat. People come back to that. I kind of use the title that helps people find that. But here's what's crazy. Oh, look, there's Cynthia talking about YouTube on YouTube. Very meta. As I scroll down here, a friend of mine was showing how he makes this Swedish coffee bread, and I recorded him, and it has had 1.2 thousand views. Bizarrely, when the second video in the series, which was him icing it, only has 110. But here's my really funny video. This video is a video of me walking around. Some friends were coming to town, and they were staying in a hotel called Hotel Mulberry, and they were nervous. They didn't know what kind of neighborhood it was. So they asked me to tell them about the neighborhood. I went there, I walked around, I made a little video. I didn't even talk. So it's just 3 minutes, basically me just showing what the neighborhood's like. And it's had 1.4 thousand views, because you know why? People want to come, they want to stay in Hotel Mulberry, and they're like, what is the neighborhood like? So there even, actually, I guess I got rid of the comments. There were some comments originally, like they thought it was a very useful video. So again, my videos are out in the public. If you call it something that has the name is something that people are going to search for, they'll more easily find it. I didn't do any tagging. I didn't do any of the work that you can do to make your videos even easier to find. And you don't need to either, because we are basically sharing them with a very set audience, right? You're sharing them with your learners, and you have your methods for doing that. Now, what we just talked about was that you've mostly been doing it through things like a learning management system or a WhatsApp group or email. And that's fantastic. But now we're going to segue over to Google Sites, because Google Sites could be a way for you to create a single link that your learners could have, but you could keep adding content there, including videos. And because we already established that YouTube is really a Google product, it's very, very easy to put a YouTube video or multiple YouTube videos into your Google Sites. Kind of like when we do Google Slides. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to take us back to the other version. I'm going to also see if there are any questions or answers in the... Oh, nice. Yes, Hotel Mulberry. See if you want to go there. Okay, so now I'm gonna share my other version of me. Let's get there. All right, so there's a few more bits and pieces in here to do with YouTube, and now we're going to look at Google Sites. So Google Sites is another tool, just like all the other googly things that we've been using. You can get to it. What are some ways that we get to Google content, Google tools? Someone want to say out loud how, if I asked you right now to open up Google Slides, how would you do it?
Use the waffle.
Use the waffle. Fantastic. So we know we have the waffle as one option. And strangely, here I don't show you that, but let's go over to my drive and see if there's a waffle there. There is, right? So we call this a waffle, or the app launcher. So it's those 9 little squares in a square. So if I click on that, I can see all of my googly tools, and I can move them around even, so I can get to the top, the ones I like the best. So we can see that this is actually Google Sites. Excellent. So that's one place. Any other places, any other ways to get to Google Sites? Or so what I'm trying to show you a little bit is that it's true for multiple tools. So docs, sheets, slides, yeah.
Type it in the URL.
Fantastic. So if we go up here to a new tab or a new menu area, what would I type in here?
Google Sites.
Okay, so I could totally just do Google Sites, although Google always gets a little weird when I type Google first. So Google Sites. Look at that, right? It does come up. We have a couple of other things we could type in here, though. Does anyone remember the other address we can put in that will get us to a new Google Doc or a new slide presentation? Is it ringing a bell? Every tool, pretty much, I won't say every, majority of Google tools, we can get there by typing, sorry, the name of the thing. So in this case, sites. So sites.google.com. So this is a rule: mail.google.com, docs.google.com, sheets.google.com. It's a general rule that if you know the name of the tool and you type that .google.com, when we hit enter, it will take us to a page where we will see all of the things we've made in that particular tool, as well as templates. And in this case, for Google Sites, this is a particularly nice way to get to your Google Sites, because you do get to choose from a little bit more robust template gallery. Another way I could have done it is here in my, which is very much like the the launcher. Whenever you're in Google Drive, you have that new button over here. If I click on new, I have all my tools here. And then if I go to more, I get to Google Sites. This is just going to open up a new Google site. It doesn't give me that rich set of templates that I could pick from. So when I'm creating a new website, I like to start by typing in sites.google.com, and then I can come here and I can see a little bit more what I can pick from. If I do it this way, I do get themes over here, but it's a limited version, right? It's just a few different preset. What does this remind you of? Where else do we have themes that are kind of like this? What other
Google Slides.
Yes, it's very like Google Slides. And in my life now, I'm so bored with the pre-made stuff for Google Slides that I tend to make my own Google Slide template, which when we're looking at slides, we do that in the view, and here we have the theme builder, right? So the theme builder here in slides is pretty similar to what you get to when you, if you were to make your own, you can pick from one of these templates, or again, they use the word theme. I used the word template. If we go back to this version, I tend to just now go to create a theme. I have to give it a name, so we could call it Tuesday. It's really whatever is helpful for you. I could add a logo. So again, when you decide to make a website, you're going to either have to be finding some content while you're doing it, or you could gather all that content in advance. I'm kind of cheating here because I'm not really aiming for a very specific content, but I'm going to go to upload. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm going to pick on our Google Sites badge as our logo here. And as a banner image, I'm going to click on here. And again, if you're using Canva or something like that, you could make a very specific sized banner that would fit exactly here. I'm going to cheat again and kind of go to where I know I have lots of images. And I'm going to pick an image. Let's pick our cowgirls. And I'm going to click next. So I can do preset colors or I could do custom colors. It's a lot to think about. So if you want to come back and do custom colors, you can always change it later. It's too much for me to think through. So I'm going to come in here and choose one of these sets. We'll go with this one. I'm going to click next. And then you get to choose the fonts. And it's going to show you all the fonts that you have uploaded, at least mostly. I say that because I think, Cynthia, was it you? Someone was telling me that they couldn't find one of the fonts they love in, they'd uploaded it, they'd added it in one tool and it wasn't showing in another, which is very strange because most fonts, if you add them, they show up everywhere. Let's use Antonio and let's use normal. Okay, so I've set some rules, just like I would in slides, right? What is going to be my title font? What is going to be my body font? And I'm going to go ahead and create my theme. Now, I can still do a lot of changing, right? I could come in here and I could change my colors. I could come in here and change the text again. Like sometimes, like this is bolded and I don't really want that. So I'm going to go in here where it says normal text, change that to title, and I'm going to unbold it. So it's a little easier to read. And maybe I want to make it a bit bigger. There we go. Right. So you have some places in here where you can do a lot of work. Now, if that's all annoying to you and you just want to get the content up there, just don't do this part. Pick one of their themes and you'll just be plugging and playing. This is just like with slides where you can kind of create the shell and then you'll be putting your content in there. And that can take a lot of time. So if you were, say you were to work with your learners and they were going to make their own websites, you might want to control for this and not have them creating their own themes because you could really stay here for a long time. And instead just pick one of the themes that already exists for the sake of now. So I'm not going to go through a lot of these other things, but just know you have all of those things that you can come in and edit and really refine. And that's how someone would make a very professional looking website, just by fixing all of those things. So you see here we have themes, which was what we've just been doing. Now we have pages. Pages is where you create the buckets, the different tabs or the different content areas inside your website. And if I was showing you in my slides, I would say it's something like this, right? Where we have our website overall is called Cute Animals. I'm going to have 3 main tabs: home, kittens, and puppies. And then under kittens and puppies, I'm going to have additional. And either these are additional pages that could be a drop-down menu or linked out to them, or the content could be on the page. So that's kind of the outline that we're working with, right? So if I go back to my sites now, oops, not this one, this one. In pages, I would add, and here we see that plus sign, very much like lots of other places in Google, right? So we see that plus sign if you want to add another page to your slides, or if you know, it's a very common technique they have. So as I scroll over the plus sign though, I have a few different options. I can make a new menu section. I can create a full page embed, which would be taking some code from somewhere else and embedding it here, so it would be content from somewhere else. I could have a link out to another website. So maybe if you were creating one for your class, you would have a link to your agency's website. Or we can just do a new page, which is what I want to do right now. So usually when I work on a website, I want to start off with my main buckets first. So I'm going to call this page boots. We're going to go with the Western theme. And I'm going to click that. I'm not even going to deal with advanced. And now we have 2 tabs. We have our home tab, just like we see here, and we have our boots tab. And now I want to add one more, and I call this horses. I'm also going to do one more, and I'm going to call this one tiny horses. And you want to make sure that you're aware of what your system is. So I'm going to have those both capitalized. Okay. So I have these 4 tabs. Tiny horses really belongs to horses though. So I'm going to move this by clicking on it and dragging it up and sticking it inside. You see where that blue line is? I'm sticking it inside horses. Now it's actually a drop down. So I could have a lot of different horses, right? I could have giant horses, tiny horses, red horses, blue horses, whatever. So that's how you create a nested menu or a drop down menu. And people know there's a drop down menu because you have that little V there, little downward arrow. I could also make it invisible. Let's see here. So if I go to these 3 dots that show up, they're gone now. I have to come over and scroll over here. I get those 3 dots for more. I can make it my home page. I can duplicate it if I want exactly the same thing, and maybe I want to edit it and not delete, not mess up another one. So often I do this if I have a page I really like, but I need to make some changes. I might duplicate it and make the changes in the duplicate. And then when I'm satisfied, I'll make the duplicate page visible on the main page, right? So we have duplicate page, we have properties, add a subpage, hide from navigation. This is what I was just saying. So if I made a duplicate, the duplicate would be hidden. I'd make it hidden. So if we click hide, it's gone. It exists still. I could go in and edit it, but the world can't get to it. It's not visible to the world. And then to make it visible again, I could put it back to show it in navigation. So you can control a little bit what's happening, what the world can access. And you can delete it if you don't want it anymore. So themes is the first step, and that's kind of like the big picture. Then we have the pages, which is the buckets of information. And then we have the insert, and this is kind of where you live most of the time. So whatever page you're on, you can insert content. And these are the different elements that Google gives you for this. So you have these very a la carte elements. I'm going to add a text box. I'm going to add an image. I'm going to add something from my Google Drive. I'm going to embed something. Then they give you these content blocks, which are preset. And you want to make sure, you know, yay, I want to put in 4 pictures. Woohoo, they have a content block for that. If I want to make 5 pictures, oh, it's kind of annoying. I might need to do 2 sets of 2 and another 1 or 3 sets of 2. Like you have to kind of think a little bit about, you know, how it matches the content that you're going to add. Say I added this, so I just clicked it. If you're used to Wix or Weebly, there's dragging and dropping and all kinds of stuff. Here it's just clicking it, and then you can reposition it as you scroll over it. Notice this blue line. What does that remind you of? What other Google tool gives us a blue outline that lets us know what we're editing?
Slides.
Yes, it's so like slides. If you know slides or you feel pretty comfortable with slides, you really already know Google Sites, because they really use very much the same kind of rules and interactions with the user. So in this case, if the blue line is what is active right now, and I go to this trash can, it's going to delete the whole set. But if I click here, and now the blue line is only on this section, now I can just get rid of that and leave the other 2 behind. Do you think Control Z would undo that? Yes. So I can do Control Z to bring that back. You also have these backward and forward arrows. So keep that in mind, just like in slides, you do something and then you're like, oh my God, I just broke it. Control Z will often get you back to where you need to go. Now, again, just like in slides, as I scroll over these things, I'll get different kinds of cursors, right? So the cursor now is a 4-way arrow. What does that tell you? When you see a 4-way arrow, what's going to happen?
Resizing?
No. Good guess, Marika. That's the 2-arrow one.
Okay.
The 4-arrow is move.
Oh, okay.
The 4-arrow, when you have that 4-way arrow, it means I can move something. So I'm actually going to delete this. And now if I wanted to, I could drag this over. But notice, as I'm moving it, there are those white horizontal lines. One of the things, and it took me a long time, and I struggled a long time with this, because I would be like, okay, I want to put it right here, but it will snap over because it will want to stay inside those lines. So you can put it anywhere, but you can't, it will snap it into so it fits within lines. You can't do something halfway through. So if you're finding, like I would resize these little images to fit, and they kept resizing back, and it was because they were snapping into these vertical lines. So that's how Google helps you create columns. But you need to know that that's something it's going to force you to do. When I'm on here, so we talked about the 4-way arrow being the mover one. What do you think is going to happen if I scroll over those little blue circles, anchory things that I'm seeing on the sides here? I don't want to do it because I want to see if you know what's going to happen when I go there.
Resize.
Exactly. So this is, again, like slides. If I come over here, I get that 2-way arrow. And like Marika mentioned, so the 4-way is movement. That's true in slides. 2-way arrow is change the size. And in slides, we want to be very careful to maintain our aspect ratio by dragging from diagonally. Here, we're just creating spaces, so we can drag it this way. It's kind of like a text box in slides, right? You can make it whatever size you want, but you could drag it this direction too. And you can make it a lot smaller. It didn't impact the size of the writing. If the image was in there, now let's go ahead and add an image. And I will add this one. So we had a CoAbe conference was in Nashville, and so we made these stickers that say, I pick adult ed tech in the shape of a guitar pick. So you can see the picture is kind of stuck in there, and I'm going to have to do some work to make it fit. And I'm not changing the picture right now. I'm changing the box the picture goes in. So I'm moving this so the picture is in there. Now, if I start to make it bigger, the picture will get bigger. But until the picture's showing, you're just making the box bigger. And you want to make sure that you're careful with that, right? So the picture's showing. I have writing here. So just like in slides, this is a title box. And then we have our regular kind of content box. So we've talked that we have these guys up here. We now looked at our content blocks. And then if we go below, we have even more fabulous things. So now, for example, I mentioned video. So YouTube is actually here. So if I click, let's click out of there so we're not selecting anything. And I'm going to click YouTube, and it wants you to know what video, like you're either going to upload a video or you're going to come in here and search for something. I'm going to search for robots dancing. And in real life, I would have carefully decided in advance which video was the one I wanted to share with people. So this is artificial, what I'm doing right now, but you would find the video. You could put the link to the video in here. But you want to find the video. And again, this is just like in slides and in docs, where if you wanted to embed something, you can go out even while you stay inside your document, but it's not the best search. So usually you want to find it before you're even here. And we're going to say this guy, this is the video. Oh, this one looks like it might be fun though. Let's do that. So we're selecting that. I'll put 2 videos in because I selected 2. If I want to get rid of something, I want to get rid of this one. I need to click on it so it's highlighted and it has those anchors. We call those anchors, those little blue spots. I can make this video take up the whole page. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. I can also delete it. Okay, so now we just have this video. I could now come in here, for example, and I could add a text box. And the way it works, it might be really hard to see, but there's like little dots, just like we see in Google Forms. If you want to move questions around, you get those little dots. They're over here on the side too. That's, if I scroll over them, my cursor turns into that 4-way arrow, which we know means I can move things. So I want this to be beside this. So I'm going to go up to where those little dots are. And as I scroll over it, I get my 4-way arrow, and I'm going to drag this down. And I can see that blue outline. It lets me know where it's going to land right now if I let go. So now it's there. So now I can put questions in here or directions on what the learner is supposed to do with this video. I give a link here to a Google form that they're supposed to fill out once they've watched the video. So this could become the single location that they need to know about. They could bookmark this, and every time they come back, there could be a new page, a new tab, or a new drop-down that would be the day of the week or your homework or whatever it is you want to have written there, right? So the content could be right here. Now, there's a lot more stuff. Collapsible groups, one of my favorite things I've never seen anywhere else. If I click on collapsible group, so this allows me to say favorite boots. And then if I come down here, I could put in a whole thing. Let's see. I like big, heavy boots, blah, 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 right? So this is a lot of writing. What's going to happen is it hides. So the title will show, and then when the person comes to see it, they can do a very quick drop down to get to the other content. So say you wanted to have every day of the week here, it would just show you the days of the week, but as a learner came over and clicked on the little arrow, they get to see the actual links out to the work from that day. This will all be, so you're working on your website. We want to give it a title. We're going to call it Western Robots. It's a weird combination. And we'll see that that actually becomes the little title up here once I click out of it. There we go. And we're going to give this a page title. So you don't have to have anything here at all. You could delete it. This could say home. This could say the name of your class, right? So we could say ESOL Spring 2024. You can see what it's going to look like. So I'm designing it right now for a browser. So it's going to be designed to be relatively horizontal. But I also can see here what it's going to look like if it's on a phone. And it's good to look at it because sometimes the order of things can be a little weird. In this case, for example, I think this is the writing and that's above these two things, and I might want to have the questions right here. This is what the drop down, what that collapsible thing looks like, right? So if I click on that, we get our thing there. So you see that it made it much more of a vertical, narrow layout. And then you have tablets, which are kind of a combination of the two, right? So it's good to review that. When you're done with that, you click on X. It's going to go back to where we'll call it the back end, where we get to do all of this stuff. I guess that was the image, actually, that we were seeing that little box for. I'm going to just get rid of that. So again, make sure you know what you have highlighted, and then you can go ahead and get rid of it. This I could center bizarrely, I don't know why. And then there's this little grayed out image icon for link. So there's no link right now because I've never published this. Once you publish it for the first time, there will always be the link. But before you publish it the first time, there's no link. So I'm going to go ahead and publish. Oh, there's one more thing I want to do. So when you're looking at the tabs across the top here, you'll notice there are little images in each tab. And those make it easier for us to know what the tab has in it. It's sometimes hard to read, or you might have a lot of tabs open. And we've talked about that before with our Google icons, because the Google icons are in the tab, right? So if I asked someone right now to open up my slides, I don't have to read any of this. I just know that I'm going to go to the tab with the yellow little slides icon. Or if I wanted someone to go to my drive right now, I know immediately this is my drive or something related to my drive because it has that symbol there. So this little symbol in your tab is called a favicon. And you'll see a lot of people make websites and they never really think about the fact that they can change the favicon. So the default favicon for anything made in a Google site is going to be the Google Sites icon. But we want to change that, A, because it's fun, and B, because it actually is more useful. It really does help people navigate in their tabs. So I clicked on the little gear. I get this menu. I'm going to go to brand images, and and you could upload your logo here as well, but I'm going to upload a favicon. And what's really nice about Google is that they don't require any special file type. If you were to do this in another, I'm trying to remember the other day I was working in something else. I think it was Wild Apricot, and they require you to go get a special file, make your image into a special file type. We don't have to do that. So we're just going to go to upload. I'm going to go back to my downloads because I want to use that same image that we're using as our logo. Click open. That's what it's going to look like. I don't have to save or do anything, right? So I'm just going to click out of this box now, and I'm going to go up to publish. And it's guessing because I gave it the name Western Robots that that's the web address I want, which is probably true, but it could be different, right? It could be that you're going to call the website Western Robots, but here you're going to call it ESOL Spring 2024, something like that. Now, whatever you call it here is just being added on to this long link. So again, mine's a little weirder because we have this lacnyc.org in here because I'm doing it through my workspace. But at the very least, you're going to have sites.google.com/ and then you're going to have whatever name you're giving it. So you want to give it something that makes it a little easier for people to type it in the first time. If you're sharing it, everybody with you're sending it to them via WhatsApp or email or in Canva or Canvas or whatever, that's fine. And then they can just know to bookmark it. But it's kind of helpful if you can say it too, right? So Western Robots is not bad, actually, kind of like that. So this is the free domain that you automatically get. You don't have to pay any money. If you wanted to, you could go buy a domain, or we call it registering, actually. Register a domain. And most .org or .coms are between, I would say, $12 and $19 a year. And that could be your name .com, or it could be ESL. Again, it has to be unique. But we don't even need to worry about that. So for today, we're not going to worry about that. And we're just going to go to publish. And now it exists. So now my link is live. And if I click on that, I can grab this link and I can open up a new tab and we'll see what it looks like from the public's point of view. So we have our boots and our horses. And on our home, we have our image, and then we have our video, and then I didn't put any questions in here. And then here we have that downloadable thing. Now you'll see that this has got a very dark background, and maybe that's something you want to change. So that would go back to that theme. But this looks pretty good, right? And that's going to be my link. Now, this image up here obviously is a little wacky, so you might want to go in and change, crop the image outside and upload it here, which is one of the things that Canva can really help with. So that's my website now. And look, it has my favicon. So when I look at all of these tabs, I'm not confused that this could be if I had not changed the favicon, it would have the same little icon as this one, right? So now I immediately know that this is a live website and this is where I'm making my edits. Any questions or comments? And I haven't checked the chat for a while, so let's see what's going on. Chat. So any questions or comments, or anybody tried anything on websites that they're seeing different here? Or stop chatting, stop the sharing for a moment. Can any of you imagine using a website to share content with your learners? Sanju, I know you, I think, are you still here? You might have had to
I
go.
was thinking, maybe can we create a QR code?
Yes. And nowadays, QR codes are even easier to create. So that's a great point. If I go back to my website, you could always go and create them in a third party tool. But now, if you're in Chrome and you have your website open, you go where the address bar, the Omni bar is up here. You just keep going all the way over to where there are 3 dots, and you click on the 3 dots and you come down to where it says save and share. And there you have create a QR code. And this QR code, I can just copy it and I could come back to my slides and put a new slide in. And that, if you wanted to right now, you could scan that QR code and you would get to my website. Thank you for bringing that up, Sanju, because that is a really great way to share. Yes.
Can you show me again, because I wasn't
Yes.
looking at the whole screen. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So again, this is true for anything in
Okay.
Chrome. So whatever web page you're on, I'll go back to my web page, but if whatever page you're on, you go where the address bar is, that Omni bar, you just keep going all the way over, and you'll have your little face or your little initials and those 3 dots. So you want to click on those 3
I see.
dots.
Okay.
And then in here, there's lots of stuff. This is actually really, it's worth checking this out. When next time you have some days off, you can come in here and play around with history and passwords, all that stuff. But we're going to come all the way down here to save and share.
Okay.
And then save and share. And then you come over here and you scroll down to where it says create QR code.
Okay, thank you.
And notice you could cast this if you have a Chromecast or something. This is where all that stuff is. But yeah, so create the QR code. And then for a long time, this was annoying because you had to download this QR code. This has been around for a while, but the downloading made me irritated. This copy is relatively new, and I'm really excited about the copy. So literally, I just click on copy, and now it's holding my QR code, and I can paste that anywhere I want to. So I wouldn't put a QR code very often on a website, but I would definitely put a QR code on my slides that I was sharing with my learners or on a handout that I gave my learners, and then they could scan that QR code. And I would just make sure that everything I put on my website was mobile friendly, right? So, it will, because of the fact that it'll change this stuff around, the websites are usually very user-friendly on a small screen. But you just want to make sure, watching a video is super fantastic on a small screen. And if I started watching this video, I can even click out to go look at it in YouTube if I prefer that. But I wouldn't have lots and lots of writing maybe, or you could embed a Google form in here, and that's very nice to do on a small screen as well. So especially if you're doing QR codes, and especially if you know that your learners are primarily going to be coming to your website on a mobile device, you want to make sure that you've designed it for that, or you're aware of what it looks like for them. So there's a lot of stuff in the slides about aesthetics, because for some reason people tend to make quite ugly websites that are just not as much fun as they could be if you spent, just paid a little attention and were careful. So I have like some examples. This is it's a great site, but like to me, it's not as pretty as it could be. This is a hilarious site. This guy, my husband knew him, and he's lovely, and it's lots of great information. But if you go to the site, he even says here, please note my website, software is DOA. I can't do any major updates. So he's got this crazy sort of 1990s GeoCities hilariousness that these colors, the little flashing stars behind it, like that was the internet back in the 90s. So we don't need to get back to that. So don't do it unless you're having fun with that. That's fine. So Google gives you a lot of really good, nice design suggestions, and so you don't have to mess with it too much. But there are studies that talk about, learning in an aesthetically pleasing space is something that people learn more. They're willing to stay there longer. They have more respect for the content. There's a lot of real reasons to make your website pretty. This is a very funny cartoon where someone's making a new website for somebody, and then they come in with after all the different people have had their say, and the website's kind of gone back to the GeoCities version. So if you don't get to the template view that I showed you, this is a shortcut to the template view that gives you much more templates than the direct view. I don't know why that is. One of the things when you make websites is you're going to want lots of images, and there are a lot of links here for images that are copyright free. I highly recommend that you take your own photos, because those are going to be the easiest thing for you to use. But there are a lot of really amazing treasure troves of images that you can use on your website. And Canva is a really great tool, because you can make things with a transparent background, and you can make the image that you need and the size that you need it. So Canva is also here, a great resource for making your content. And I hope after today you have a sense that the hard work is actually the content. The technology part is really like so many other tools that you've probably used, that they're not the complex piece. It's later on, it's really going to be the content that you're putting in there. Here's the favicon piece. There's a fun thing here about Adobe Colors. You can even play a game where you match colors. This is that responsive design concept where we are designing it for one version, but the software makes it up for all of them. So there's a lot of stuff here. This is that thing I was kind of telling you, right? That like sites.google.com, it's true for all of these tools. Slides.google.com. Joan, I think that's what you were actually getting at when you were telling me where to go. And you can certainly go to Google Sites. There's nothing wrong with that, but sites.google.com will actually get you somewhere better.
Yes, it does. And I didn't remember how to do it. You're right. Yes, it does.
I could tell that you were referencing stuff that you knew from before. So that was fantastic. If you're interested in lessons that might include Google Sites or YouTube, you can go to Applied Digital Skills. They definitely have some lessons around that content. I'm going to put the evaluation in the chat. Let's see here.
I have one more question.
Yeah, yes.
There's a way we can make the web address short.
So you can't make it shorter there, but you bring up a really good point that we can use Bitly, right? We know that we
Bitly.
can.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So if you Yeah, I would use Bitly, or you could use, so the survey is in the chat. Please do the survey. Does us a lot of good to hear from you, and also our funders like that. If I go to bit.ly.com, we have tinyurl is another one, but Bitly is bit.ly. They limit you a little bit nowadays. And I am not logged in this one. Okay, so let me stop sharing here and take you to my other account. All right, let's see. All right, so if I was to go to bit.ly.com here, this is my, I have an account already, so that's why I want to, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, bit.ly.com, will it go there? Okay, so I'm logged in here. This is easier for me to show you, but if you don't have an account already, I highly recommend you get an account. I'm doing the free version, and what it lets me do is I can come here to create a new link. And this is another way to get QR codes. If I paste my, oops, I'll paste my survey link. I can give it something short, like it has to be unique. So I'm going to say survey and then today's date. And that usually is enough to make it something that no one else has used. And I could say generate a QR code. And I could even change the color of the QR code. What? And I can say create. And I think it limits you to 5 QR codes a month for the free version. Here's the short link. So if I copy the short link now and I was to put it in our slides. So let me open up the slides here. I could just paste it here. There's our short link. So that can be a lot easier for people, and you can edit that any way you want. The thing is, it's going to be bit.ly/ and then whatever name you give it, and it is case sensitive. So again, if you use this a lot with your learners, they're going to know that, and it's not going to be a problem. But I often, when I do a workshop and I use Bitly, there are always a few people that have a hard time, and we have to kind of like find where the spelling error was or something like that. So it can be complicated. It's not 100% a in some ways, just getting your own domain is kind of the most fun part of this, but it is, at least $11 to $20 a year. But like having a URL that's your name is kind of fun. So that's another thing. And I think I did put a slide in here for places you can get your own domains or register your domain. Google used to do it, and now they've kind of connected with Squarespace. And so, yeah. So Squarespace is now the Google one, and that's very easy to use with the Google site. It's like a very nice transaction there. So that might be the one to do if you wanted to do that. And all it would be is you would go there. Again, you need to be wanting a certain a domain that no one else has used, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's how you would get your own domain.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Any other questions? So just as a reminder, if you guys want to do the digital badge thing, the digital badge is there both for you to have as proof of the work that you did. And I know, Marika, I need to get you yours. But it is also to help you maybe like decide that this is worth doing, where you actually take what we covered today and do it now over the next 3 weeks. So the two options this time are YouTube and sites. And they're very much everything we've covered today. The last thing I want to share with you, again, is the link to our self-assessment, because that's the other piece of this, that you came in with certain ideas of what you knew, and now maybe you have different ideas. So this is that link again. So if you want to go ahead and take that self-assessment again, you can. We've reached our time. I hope you got some stuff from today. We're always looking for your feedback. We're always thinking about our next you know, we've scheduled out our next few meetings, but when we start in the fall again, it's always helpful to hear from you about things that you would like us to cover. I will send you I will send you a link. I will send you all an email that will include the link to our slides, the link to the survey, the evaluation in case you didn't do that, a link to the self-assessment, and a reminder of what digital badges are available this time. The deadline would be May 20th. And I will also, what else was I going to share with you? Oh, I'll send the upcoming Google Clubs because it's always fun to see you. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I wish you all a lovely rest of your Wednesday. And I hope to see some websites and some YouTube playlists. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks again.